Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you. So, today we have a very interesting session lined up for you all. So, let me just share my screen. Okay. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session. Am I audible, everyone? Am I audible and visible, everyone? Just give me a thumbs up. Great. Okay. So, welcome everyone. So, we have a wonderful session lined up for today, and that is about AI tool for content tagging. Before starting the session, I'll just quickly introduce about myself. I hope some of you folks know me. So I'm Sahil Agarwal. I have done my graduation from IIT Indore and I have 12 years of experience into product management. Presently, I'm working as a senior product manager with the India Today group. So quickly moving on to the agenda for the session. So today we'll talk about first about an AI model. Post that we will be talking about certain metrics that we were tracking, that we were basically looking after in the AI model, followed by what led to the model failure. Post that we'll be talking about some recommendations for improvement, and finally we'll be talking about some inferences and insights. Okay, so I'll just summarize that what we are going to cover. So this session will be more about how we developed an AI model and then what learnings we got from that AI model. Okay, so the session would be planned in this manner. So quickly moving forward, the first slide is about AI model. Okay, so let me first understand that how much exposure do we have to AI? So are we using AI in at our workplace? Are we doing something? We are using some AI tools. We are doing some development. Can anyone tell me that? Yes, up to an extent. Okay, Pranay says up to an extent. Others, is someone actually developing an AI model? I just want to know that is someone actually developing an AI model at present at their workplace or at their organization? Please feel free to answer in the chat because okay, Gemini, people are using Gemini GPT. Okay, we have our own model. Okay, Mrityunjay, good to know. Okay, just using it for day-to-day activities. So I'll tell you what was the situation. So what was happening, that I'll tell you what was happening is that we had content. Okay, we had content and we had questions. Now we were creating content for different topics, like we were creating content for project management, we were creating content for product management, we were creating content for data analytics. Now our job was, please listen to this very carefully. Now our job was that we were basically creating questions based on these. Okay, so we were basically getting questions, we were tagging them the questions based on the topics, and we were tagging the questions based on the difficulty levels. Okay, so let's understand that we have a problem statement, which is we have questions and then we have to tag the questions based on the difficulty level and based on the topic. This exercise was being done manually. I'm repeating myself. Please listen very carefully. This is a very interesting problem, and I'm telling you guys that this has applications across. This is not just confined to the content part. This is across industries. So whatever I'm talking now is applied across industry, and it's very useful. So the problem statement was that the tagging of content or the tagging of questions of topics and difficulty level. Let's say there is a question, it belongs to what topic and it belongs to what difficulty level, that was done manually. Okay, now when this was done manually, this was a very time taking process. So we could just like there was a person who is working on these questions and we could just produce like 5 to 6 questions in an hour, and The cost for producing these questions, the cost for producing these questions was coming up to 200 rupees per question. Okay, so this was humongous. So 2 points, 2 points. One is that when we were trying to create content using manually, one was that the cost was very high. The cost for generating one question was 200 rupees for one question. And secondly, the time that was being taken was around 12 minutes for one question. So in 1 hour, only 5 questions we were able to produce. Apart from that, apart from that, another problem that we were facing was the efficiency, the consistency. Now what was happening, let's say there are two people. Okay, two people reading the same question. One might feel the question is difficult, another might feel the question is easy. So in the same question, two different people reviewing will provide two different outputs. Are you getting my point? Two different people reviewing the same question will give two different outputs. So there was a lot of subjectivity. So all these factors, along with the growing prevalence of AI. So in every domain, we were seeing that AI is coming into picture. So why we thought that why not tagging of questions should be done using AI. So here, one very important thing I want to point here. Everyone, please see over here. I am focusing on very important point, that is the NLP. How many of you are aware of NLP? In the chat, let me know how many of you are aware of NLP. It's my humble request that please, everyone, if you are engaging in the session, then only it will be fruitful. You have to be very engaging. You have to respond. No. So NLP is natural language processing. So please make a note of this term. So it's my humble request to all of you who are attending the session. If you want this session to be fruitful, if you want this session to help you, please make notes. So the first pointer for today that you have to note is NLP. What is NLP? NLP stands for Natural Language Processing. What? NLP stands for Natural Language Processing. Now I'll give you a beautiful example. Yesterday, Yesterday, I purchased an iPhone from Amazon. Yesterday, I purchased an iPhone from Amazon. Is the statement clear to everyone? Yesterday, I purchased an iPhone from Amazon. Now, when I say Amazon, what I am referring to? Can you quickly tell me in the chat? When I'm saying Amazon, what I'm referring to? Please, in the chat, I want some responses. Yes, I'm talking about the e-commerce portal. So when we are having this conversation, automatically, each one of you is able to say that it is belonging to e-commerce or it is the digital application. None of you said, none of you said that this Amazon refers to the Amazon rainforest. None of you said this refers to the Amazon river. Why? Because as humans, we naturally know that whatever shopping is being done, that is done through the Amazon app. It is not done through the Amazon river, or it is not done through the Amazon rainforest. This is what is natural language processing. So we want to train our model in such a way that they are able to understand the language naturally. All right. Are we able to understand this? And if you want to understand this further, my request to you all is that please note this term. We have the context, right? We have the context. What is natural language processing? It is basically a way of understanding language by a system the way it is. The way it is. Yes, Venkatesh, that's right. So just note this term, and after the session, whenever you get time, please read some literature, because nowadays, if you talk about interviews, if you talk about companies, if you talk about industries, everywhere NLP is something across being used. Even chat gpt that you are using is using NLP. Okay, so this one term that we have learned is NLP, right? So let's quickly move forward now. Now we come to the matrix part, or rather than matrix, it is the model output. So is natural language processing clear to everyone? What is NLP? We are not going into depth because today the session is how we learn from product mistakes. Guys, please listen to me carefully. I am just setting the context. These terms which I am covering today, you need to go back home, you need to go back to your internet and search for these terms to know further. Today the main focus is how to learn from product mistakes. So I'm just giving you the context, and post that we will learn that how the things that we did over here are to be improved, or how we learn from our mistakes. Okay, so two metrics I'm talking about. One is confidence percentage and second is error rate. Okay, so now I am going to talk about two new terms. Okay, two new terms. One is the test data and one is the training data. Have we heard about these two terms? Let me know in the chat. Yes, this Raja has heard about this. Can we have some more replies? Okay, test data and training data we all have heard. So now listen very carefully how this model was working. My sincere request to all of you, please listen very carefully how the model was trained and how we were able to obtain output from this. So what we did was we had a bank of 40,000 questions, right? We had a bank of 40,000 questions. What we did was we took, we made two batches. Okay, we had a bank of 20,000, 40,000 questions. Okay, 40,000 questions we had, and we make two batches. We made two batches of 20,000 each. Okay, 40,000 questions, two batches of 20,000 each. One was the test data. I'll call test data as T, and one was the training data that I will call as TR. Okay. So can you tell me what will happen first? First, the testing will happen, or first the training will happen? Can you tell me, everyone? What will happen first? The testing or the training? Please, please. I want some responses in the chat. Yes. First the test. No, 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 no. First, no, guys. First the training will happen, right? You will first train someone, right? Now you are learning product management, right? So first you are getting trained, right? First you are getting trained, then only you will get your certification, right? So when do you appear for your test? You first study for a test, you first train for a test, and then you appear for the test. Yes? So first training would happen. Correct? First training would happen. So what we did was we took 20,000 questions and we trained the model. Okay, we trained the model to do what? The purpose of the model was to see the question and tell it belongs to which topic. Okay, what was the purpose of the training? Listen very carefully. Everyone, please listen very carefully. The purpose of the training was to first, the purpose of the training was that now when the model is trained, you put in a question. Okay, so you put in a question. This is your model. You put your question inside the model and it will do the tagging. Okay, it will do the tagging. Understood how it is working? So you have the question. Please listen to me very carefully. I am doing it in a very simple manner so that it is clear to everyone. You have a question, you put it inside the model, and the model will give you tagged question. Okay, this is the whole purpose. This process was being done manually, and now instead of being done manually, this will be done automated, right? So we put the question, it would be put in the model and it would be tagged, right? Now what happened was, once we trained it, okay, once we trained it, we went to the testing part. Okay, once the training is done, we went to the testing part. Now we got these, the first parameter. Okay, the first matter parameter was confidence percentage. Confidence percentage, can anyone tell me what is confidence percentage? Can anyone tell me what could be confidence percentage? Don't go to AI. Okay, do not. Yes, Kapil, excellent. Yes, correct. Yes, yeah, right. So confidence percentage is that, let's say you give a question, then the model will tag it with a certain confidence level. Let's say 80%. So the model says that with 80% confidence, I say that the topic is from product management. Okay. With 80% confidence, I can say the topic is from product management. Or with 90% confidence, I can say that the topic is from product management. Okay. So let's see what happened. Okay. Let's see what happened. So first we did the training. Training was complete. And now we did testing. Now with testing, we got this data of tags. Okay. We got this data of tags. Now we saw that this was done with 20,000 questions. This was done with 20,000 questions. Now with remaining 20,000 questions, we saw that whatever results are given by the model, are they correct or are they wrong? So this will now define the error percentage. This defines the error percentage. Did you all understood it? Can we have a poll here? Can we have a poll here? My request to please conduct a poll. How many of you understood it? I just want to know how many of you understood it. Confidence and error. All of you understood it? Please, if you have any queries here, just raise in the chat. Okay, Raja says explain it again. Okay, okay, I'll explain again. Okay, okay, I'll explain again. I'm explaining. No worries, no worries, no worries. Shilpa, I'm explaining again. So what is happening? What is happening that let's say we have topic A. I'm explaining again. Yes, yes. We have topic B, we have topic C, we have topic D. So model said that this question one belongs to A. This is question. Okay, this is question, this is topic. Okay, this is question, this is topic. So this question one topic A, question two topic B, question three topic C, and question four is topic D. Okay, this is what the model gave. Model gave this data, right? Now, let's say in actual, okay, in actual, this belongs to topic A, this belongs to topic B, this belongs to topic C, but this belongs to topic E. So how many of three are correct? Three are correct and one is wrong. So what is the error percentage over here? What will be the error percentage? Answer please. What will the error percentage? So model said that this is from topic A. Model gave these values with some confidence percentages. Model gave these values with some confidence percentages. Okay, model said that okay, these are the values with some confidence percentages. But actually, when we saw that these three topics are right, but one is wrong. So what will be error percentage? One is wrong out of four. So what is the error percentage? 25. Error percentage is simply that. Yes, right. Correct. Okay, everyone understood it? Yes. So now can we have some quick thumbs ups? Are we all understanding here? Great. So we have all the right answers here. Can we have some quick thumbs ups? So, so the first thing that we learned over here was about NLP, right? The first thing that we saw was NLP. The second thing which we learned was confidence percentage and error percentage, right? But now, what was the problem? Now, what was the problem? For the questions which we had these 40,000 questions, right? For these questions, the percentages were around 90%. Okay. So we had a 10% error rate. We just had a 10% error rate. For these 40, for internal questions that we had 40,000 questions. We just had an error rate of around 5 to 10 percentage. Okay. So we were very happy. Okay, so we had this error rate of 5 to 10%. This error rate was 5 to 10%. We were quite happy. Yes, see. Shilpa, listen. First 20,000 was for testing. 20,000 first were for training, and we did the testing on the remaining, na? So these were training and these were for testing. Are you understanding? So first we trained them. Okay. First we trained using these questions. First we trained the model using these questions, and then once we have trained them, then we tested for the next 20,000 questions. So we got the error rate of 5 to 10%. Now understood? No, guys, please listen. I will not repeat it again and again. I think you are getting confused little bit. We had total 40. I am saying again, total we had 40,000. 20,000 we used for training, and 20,000 for testing, right? So the error percentages were for this. The error percentages came for the test data only. Error percentage was for only for the test data, not for the training data. Okay. Okay, don't worry about this. The test data is basically separate. Okay, the test data is not the same as the training data. I hope it's clear to everyone. Are we all clear now? Are we all good? Great. Okay, so I'll just share a very beautiful quote with you. So just I think it has been a little complex, so I just want to tone down and I want to make you all feel comfortable. So I think we all are working in industries. Many of you would be managers. Many of you would be the upcoming managers. Okay, so this is a very beautiful quote. Mastering others is strength. Listen very carefully. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. So many times we feel that if we are able to overcome others using strength, we feel powerful, right? But the true winner is the person who is able to master yourself. Because once you are able to master yourself, nothing can beat you in this world, right? So this is a very beautiful quote. Mastering others is strength. Remember in life, mastering others is strength, but mastering yourself is true power. So please believe in true power. And I am really happy to see the way you all have interacted. The chat is filled with so many messages. I'm really happy to see. And this is what is required to be a great product manager, and that is be inquisitive, have a lot of perspectives, and do not leave any doubts. Okay, so thank you so much for your support. And are we all good? Are we all fresh? Can we move to the next topic? Are we all good? Okay, great. Right. Thank you. So what happened was that for this 20,000 data, the error was 5 to 10%, and we were like super happy. Okay, we were super happy with this. We were super happy. Now this happiness was our biggest mistake. Okay, this happiness over here was our biggest mistake, because the internal data that we were having over here, the percentages were very good. The error of 5 to 10% was very good. We had a 90% confidence. We were so happy. Okay, the error rate was very low, the confidence 90%, and we thought that now we have overcome and this model will do wonders. But can anyone predict what would have happened? Can anyone predict what would have happened? Yes, correct. Anil has given the great answer that we actually were happy with a very small data set. So actually, when we got some more questions, the error rate fell. Okay, when we got some more questions and the error rate fell to 50%. So this error rate was now 50%, and it was a it was a disaster. It was a big disaster. Because of this less data, we'll come up with more reasons, but less data was one of the biggest reasons, and our model failed. So though we adopted something new, but because our we didn't follow the required process, we didn't follow the required protocol, our model turned to be a failure. So yes, Mani, we are coming on that only. So now we are going to talk about possible reasons of model failure. So this not only goes, I'm repeating myself, the reasons which I'm going to talk about, these reasons not only work for the particular model I'm talking about, this is in general for all AI aspects. In general, for all AI models, this is there. So one is the data issues. Now I want to give you an example. Do you know how much data Chat GPT used to train up their models? Do you have any idea how much data Chat GPT has used to train its models? I will give you that number here. Any rough random guesses? I can have some random guesses. Venkatesh say no. Any random guess? Billion in TBS. So around 50,000 GB. So Chat GPT has used around 50,000. This number may be even higher. They have used around 50,000 GB of data to train their models. So the models which we are seeing over here, they have used 50 GB. And what was our data? We just used 20 GB of data. Our model just used 20 GB of data. So you see, how can you get accurate results? At a place where 50,000 GB was being used, you use 20,000 20 GB data and you expect the same results. That's not possible, right? Second problem, noisy or unstructured data. Now in data, whenever we are talking about data science, whenever we are talking about AI models, that data should be clean, right? You cannot have a sentence with random apostrophes. You cannot have a sentence with random punctuations. You cannot have a sentence where the alphabetical order is not correct. You cannot have a sentence where there are grammatical errors. So two most important things over here was that very less data was used, and secondly, it was noisy data. Further, we didn't talk about the outliers. What is outlier? Any idea? So, Shrijan, actually, if you talk about ChatGPT, they have basically procured this data from multiple resources. They have procured data from Google, they have procured data from Microsoft, they have procured data from Meta. So they have this multi-channel output. So they have generated data from multiple sources. Okay. Now, poor handling of outliers. So what was happening that, let's say we have five topics, right? Let's say we have five topics. Now what was happening in each topic, there was a situation. Let's say we had five topics, so there was a situation where topic A we had 10 questions, topic B we had 100 questions, topic C we had just one question. Now you imagine, for a model to get trained, it should have a uniform spread across all the cases. How will the model know, right? If you want the model to perform well, it should have a uniform distribution. You cannot have very less questions from one topic and very large number of questions from the second topic. That will create what? That creates a bias. Okay, that creates a bias in the model. So for the model to perform well, you need to have questions across domains and a good variety of questions across domains. So everyone, please note this point, that if you want a model to perform well, one of the very important thing is data. You should have clean data, you should have sufficient data, and that data should not be biased, right? See, Abhishek, and one more thing I want to tell you, that when I'm talking as a product manager, please everyone very attentive over here. Please be very attentive over here. I want to bring one very important point. that as product manager, your task is not to develop models. Your task is not to get into technicality of models. People don't expect you to do the development of the models because that involves high level mathematics, that involves high level coding. What is expected out of you is that you understand how the model works. You understand that if something is not working, what could be the possible reasons. It is not expected from you guys to know the coding part. Please, please, please do not be worried if you are not aware of these models. If you're not aware of linear regression, you are not aware of multivariable regression, you are not you do not know what are transformers. That's absolutely fine. What is important is you know how it works, you know what is the requirement, you know what is the business case. You have to think in that way, right? So do not worry if you are not having that idea of the models. That's absolutely fine. You need to understand the functionality, right? So now let's move forward, and two very important terms. Everyone, please note these two terms in your books: suboptimal hyperparameter and early stopping. I think data all of you predicted. Everyone said that data must have been an issue, but I think suboptimal hyperparameter and early stopping is a new thing, which is very important. And my request is that you please note this: suboptimal hyperparameter and the early stopping. Anyone has any idea about what is this? So, what is suboptimal hyperparameter? This simply means we'll understand in the common man language. Okay, we are not going to talk about the technicalities. We are going to understand in terms of how a common man would understand this. So these are like knobs. Okay, these are like knobs which are used to train the model. So let's understand in this manner. How many of you know how to bake a cake? How many of you know how to bake a cake? Okay, Vaishali knows, Raja knows. So you think in this way that you are baking a cake, right? If the temperature is too high, this is your knob, okay? This is your knob. If your temperature is too high, the cake will burn. If your temperature is too low, your cake will be undercooked, right? So in machine learning, hyperparameters are the knobs that you adjust to control how a model is learning, right? So hyperparameter is the parameter or the knob that you basically control to train a model. Now you think in this way. Let's say one of the hyperparameter is learning rate. Okay, one of the hyperparameters is learning rate, the rate at which you are learning, right? If you set the learning rate to be too high, okay, if you set the learning rate to be too high, learning rate too high means what? You imagine that you are studying, right? And I ask you to do 5 chapters in one day. Okay, let's say, please, Mani, we'll discuss this, but you understand over here. Please note these two terms: hyperparameters and early stopping. Now listen to me very, very carefully. If you set the learning rate to be too high, if I say that you do 5 chapters in one day, or let's say we have five tracks in product management, you do all five in one day, what will happen? What will happen? Too much given in a day. So what will happen? The problem will be that you will miss the, it will feel burnt, but you will miss the details, right? You will miss details. You will miss the details. If I say that the learning rate is very high, you will miss the details. Correct? And if the learning rate is too low, what will happen? Or if we do the things repeatedly many times, what will happen? The speed will be so slow, the speed will be so slow that you will never get the output, right? So you have to have the optimal part. I'm repeating myself again. I'm repeating myself again. What is hyperparameter? Hyperparameter are simply settings or knobs that you adjust, right? That you can adjust to control how a model learns, right? So basically, it is like the knob of cooking a cake or baking a cake. That if the temperature is too high, then also it's a problem. If the temperature is too low, then also it's a problem. Similarly, when a model is learning, you have to have the optimal pace, or you have to have the optimal rate at which the model is learning. Because if you give too if the learning rate is very high, you miss out the details. If the learning rate is very slow, the model also learns very slowly and it will never fully recognize what is required. Correct? So, is this clear? The main funda that we have to understand over here is that AI is just replicating humans. I am repeating myself. You need to understand AI is just replicating humans. So, just like humans behave, we train the system to behave like a human. If a human is given too much time, the human becomes lazy. Similarly, if you give the model too much of learning rate, if you provide the data very, very slowly, the model becomes lazy. If you provide the humans information very fast, you put in lot of pressure, then also they buckle under pressure or they are not able to process the data. So exactly in a similar way model performs. So this was about hyper parameters. So the hyper parameters that we used were not correct. Okay, so this is another important thing, that in AI models, failure occurs due to lack of data, and also it occurs due to the suboptimal hyper parameters. And this hyper parameters is actually linked to early stopping as well. So what is early stopping? Early stopping simply means stopping at the right time, right? So what is early stopping means? Stopping at the right time, that neither it is too fast. Okay, neither it is too fast or neither it is too slow. So hyperparameters are the knobs that you adjust to ensure the model gets trained in the right way. And early stopping basically prevents you from training the model so much that the utility of it is lost. Okay, so we have covered the basics of it, but I would request you to please note these terms. I talked about NLP, right? In the first slide, I talked about NLP, right? Then we talked about confidence percentage, error rate. And now I'm talking about suboptimal hyperparameters and early stopping. So these are some 5 terms which I have talked about. Please note these terms, please write these terms and do some further research on it, because they are going to help you a lot with your current job as well as the future jobs or interviews that you are looking for. Okay, is it clear, everyone? Everyone got it? Any doubts here? Please shoot. You can shoot your doubts if you have any. Okay, great. Couples gives a thumbs up. So can I have some quick thumbs ups? I think if you will give me some thumbs ups, I'll feel some more energy, because I had quite a busy day today. So some thumbs ups would really encourage me to go with more energy. Oh, thanks you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go ahead. Now, another very important thing going to talk about after this exercise, right? So, what happened? We thought of AI, we implemented AI, we created certain models, that models did not work. Then we analyzed the possible reasons, right? I am repeating myself. We thought of introducing AI, we got some AI models. The models did not work well. Then we analyzed to see what went wrong in the models. And finally, we came up with the recommendations. Right now, we come up with the recommendations. And over here, I think that you people can also give recommendations. Clearly, we know that we have to have greater data sets. We need to have data augmentation techniques. That means the data is without noise. Okay, so what is data augmentation? It is basically the data without noise. I talked about noise, right? So you don't need to have noise in your data, right? But one very important thing that we came up, right? One very, very important thing that we came up after this was about transformers. So we realized that we had not used transformers. In AI, transformers are like the brain of models. In natural language processing, transformers are the brains. Do you have any idea about what is a transformer in AI? No? Okay. Anyone, any slightest idea? Okay, so my request to you all is that another important term which I want you all to please remember after this session, the key takeaway is BERT. Okay, what is BERT? BERT stands for bidirectional. BERT stands for bidirectional encoder representation from transformer. Bidirectional, bidirectional encoder representations from transformer. Any idea about what is this? Any idea about what is this? Bidirectional encoder representations from transformer. No, no, no. I'll tell you. What is the first term? Bidirectional. The first term is bidirectional. Now, if you remember, one very important aspect I talked about was of NLP was the context, right? One very important aspect that we talked about was the context. Okay. We as humans know how to set the context, but how will machine know the context? Right? How will yes, correct. Abhishek has given the right answer. So bidirectional means you see the data in both directions, right? So you read input data in both the directions to understand the context better. So as the name suggests, bidirectional encoder representation. Bi-directional encoder representation. So the name suggests bi means both directions. So you read the input data, you read the input data in both the directions to understand the context better, right? So like I tell you, let's say a sentence, I went to the bank to deposit money. I went to the bank to deposit money. Now here, if you see the term bank, the transformer. So I went to the bank. I went to the bank to deposit money, right? So when it reads bank, the bird will go in forward direction. The bird will go in both the direction. It will go in the forward direction and it will go in the backward direction. And from this, the bird will realize that when you are saying bank, it refers to the financial institution, right? Bird will know that when you are saying bank, it refers to the financial institution. It does not refer to the river. Okay. So this is how the bird works. So we analyzed and we got to know that we need to use a bird transformer to have better results. Right. So are you able to imagine that picture of what happened? Are you able to imagine that picture? So, Venkatesh, that is through training. That is how the training works. So, some models are actually predefined. So, BERT models, we have some BERT models in the market that are predefined and they already have that data. So, they are trained in that way that now this information is auto plugged, right? So I'm just telling you that how is the picture framed of what we are talking about. So first, because there was prevalence of AI, we thought that content tagging would be done using AI. Initially we were happy, we implemented AI, we were happy, we got some great results. But then what happened when we actually implemented it, the error rate was very high, we were disappointed. But then after disappointment, we actually thought that okay, disappointment is fine, but we need to understand what would the possible reasons of failure. Then we came up with the recommendations, and now after the recommendations, we were able to understand that what was our mistake. Okay, so this was all about. And one last thing that I want to talk about is human AI collaboration. Human AI collaboration. So I'll tell you what happened, right? The model was giving us confidence percentage. You remember, model was giving us confidence percentage. Model was giving us confidence percentage. Now what happened, that the model was giving us confidence percentage, but there was no one rectifying it, right? There was no one rectifying it. Now you imagine this in this way. Suppose you must have all learned permutation combination, right? You must have all learned permutation combinations, and you must have all learned probability. Yes? Do you all remember these two? Correct? Aren't these two topics very, very closely linked to each other? Right? Can you believe, are these topics very closely linked to each other? Yes. So, Shilpa Singh probably remember. So, what happens that, let's say you ask the model to tell it is from permutation or probability, right? You ask the model, you tell me it is from permutation, combination, or probability. The mod, it's a very high chance that the model also gets confused. Okay, it's a very high chance that the model also gets confused. Listen to me very carefully. This is important. Please listen to me very carefully. Whenever there are topics which are very closely linked, there you must have heard of product owner, you must have heard of product manager, product owner, product manager, project manager. These three fields are very closely linked to each other. I am repeating myself. Product management, project management, and product owner. These are three fields which are very closely linked to each other. Now, let's say the model says the question is from project management. Let's say the model says the question is from product owner, or let's say the model says the question is from project management. Now there's a very high possibility that the model may get confused. So whenever there are close topics, like you have PNC probability, like you have product management, and you have and you have product owner, these topics are very close. So whenever you are having topics which are very, very closely linked to each other, you need some human intervention to validate that, right? You need some human intervention. So many times what happens is that, let's say you are using AI, but for better using of AI you need some human intervention. Is this case clear to everyone? That when you have two topics which are very, very close to each other, then at that point you need a human to intervene and tell that what is the right answer. Okay, great. Now moving forward, now we have these inferences and insights. So now this all happened, right? This whole exercise happened, that we introduced AI for doing content tagging, but the whole model did not work as expected. So finally, we will talk about what were our learnings, right? So one learning was FOMO. So whenever we are having this FOMO, right, you need not to go into it. Okay, so avoid rushed implementation. So we just thought that because AI is everywhere, we will also put AI, we will do everything with AI, but that does not work. Now, when you do such mistakes, these mistakes also have a financial implication, right? This also costs a company a lot of money, and sometimes this loss is so big that the companies are not able to grow, right? Say in our case we were able to do well, but many times what happens, a situation comes that because of your rushed mistakes you are not able to overcome from it, right? And I hope this is a learning which you all might have faced, be it during your study time, be it during your job, be it during your career decision. Do you all agree with this, that many times just because of fear of missing out we take a random decision which literally causes a lot of problem for us, right? Pranay is agreeing, so I hope you all would be agreeing to this, because I personally have faced this in my life, right? Correct, correct. Okay. Yes, and lastly, what insights? You should always have a long-term focus, right? We just thought that AI would be used for content tagging and that's it. But in actual, if you see, we could have thought of, can it help in language translation? Can it help in chatbots? Can it help in generating new questions? We just thought of tagging questions. But we could also have thought in this way, that can it be helpful in generating questions? So long-term focus is something should always be in our mind. And finally, learning continuously from shortcomings to evolve. So you won't believe, I want to tell you all that we adopted the first model in 3 months, right? In 3 months, we developed the first model. It failed. We worked again. We worked very hard. Our whole team was on their toes. We spent day and night in office just to ensure that whatever mistakes we have done, we will set it right. And you won't believe, in the next 2 months, we again, from our learnings, brought the error rate to 4%. Okay, this was all time best. Okay, through our learnings, we brought the error rate to 4%. The cost of question, which was 200, I told you the cost of question was 200. This cost of question 200 came to 40 rupees. And we were producing 5 questions per hour, and this 5 questions per hour became 20 per hour. Okay, so we reduced the cost to a large extent, and also we increased our speed to a large extent. So I think that this was our biggest failure, right? The cost better 200 rupees to 40. Kapil, cost from 200 to 40. Okay, and number of questions from 5 per hour to 20 per hour. So this was like a retrospective for us. This was like a time for us where we all came together, and we thought that in the after first 3 months we were all lost. The management was very disappointed with us. We were like, we do not know what will be the future. We were all so upset. But then after those 3 months, we again trained, we worked day and night. In just 2 months, we brought this error rate to 4%, and from 200 rupees to 40 rupees, and from 5 questions per hour to 20 per hour. So I think that this was our biggest mistake, but still it was one of our biggest learnings. Okay. So thank you so much. I think that if we have questions now, I would love to hear some questions from you all. Whatever questions you have, we can take those questions and discuss. Please.
Yeah. Yeah, hi. Thank you so much, Sahil, for such an insightful and inspiring session. And yeah, we are open for the Q&A now, and I encourage all the participants to share their questions via the Q&A tab, and we'll address them shortly. Also, have the feedback form is live now, and we would want that you guys start filling in your feedback.
Okay. So Venkatesh, I'll just see your question. Venkatesh, if you could just post it again. Uh, it is missed in the chat. If you can just write it again, I will answer. As a PM, if we are planning for AI product, then will be helpful or in general way. So I think Raja, first and foremost, as a PM, you should first define that in which field you want to use AI. Okay, and after defining the field, be it healthcare, be it education, be it manufacturing, be it IT, you first need to define a field. And I would personally suggest you that you should take a field in which you have experience. Okay, now once you have chosen your field, you need to define where you want to make an improvement. Okay, and once you have defined where you have to make an improvement, you have to see that what is the present status, right? So you can think in this way, that you define the present status, this is for everyone. I think this is a very good question. That if you want to make some improvement using AI as a PM, you first need to define the present situation, okay, and then you need to define that what you are trying to do through AI, and then post that you have to define that what would be the improvement. So if in this way you are thinking, that is the best way to think. Do not go into AI randomly, right? Because AI is something which is really, it involves a lot of capital, it requires a lot of cost. But if you are able to analyze in this way, that you define a present situation, then you see how AI can be leveraged, and then you define what are the impact that you are creating. If you are able to define this matrix, and this matrix looks good, Raja, you can do it in any field of whichever you want. But first, you should know the present scenario, and I would suggest you that do in a field where you have experience. Okay. Okay. So Kapil, these numbers I told you, na, that why did we actually made the model? We made the model because the present work that we were doing was done manually, right? Now, because it was done manually, the cost per question. So let's say I am a person who is working, right? And I make 5 questions, and for 5 questions, I am charging 1000 rupees. So my cost will be 200 rupees for one question, right? So let's say I charge 1000 rupees for 5 questions, then the cost would be 200 rupees for one question. The same cost now, because it was automated and we were using AI, that came to 40 rupees for one question. Okay. I hope Kapil got his answer. Yes, money definitely. You can just search Sahil Agarwal, IIT Indore. You will get me money. That would be fine. Uh, Venkat is asking, how do we estimate the data size, and if the data size is correct to start with? So Venkatesh, there is no correct number for data size. What happens is that you start training your data, right? Let's say you train your data with 100 GB data, with 100 GB. Now you get the error rate as 10%. You make it 200 GB. You get the error rate as 8%. You make 500 GB. You get the error rate as 5%. A time will come when, Venkatesh, listen carefully. A time will come. So what happens? There's a graph like this. You improve data efficiency, percentage increases, and then it will become flat. So when the confidence level becomes flat, at that time you stop the training. Venkatesh, listen, very good question. There is no set number for defining the data size. You do the training, it improves. A time will come when it will not improve. Once it stops improving, that much data is required. Okay, so understood. Okay. Any other questions? So team Accredian is writing, during the time of failure, team must have come up with blame game. How as a PM? So Pranay, very, very nice question. There was a lot of blame game. So the brunt was with me only because I was the product manager at that time. But I think that uh, my management actually supported me, because I took the blame on myself. I took the blame on myself because the team was reporting to me, and I just said one thing, that it was something we are doing for the first time. Please give me some time to investigate. Please give me some time to identify the possible reasons, and I will prove myself. This was the only thing which I said, and I said this to my team, to my management as well, that I am one who tries to master oneself than others. Okay, so I said this to my team, to my management as well, that I will master myself, I will do everything in detail. They trusted me, and then we got great results. So uh, accepting your accepting your errors, accepting your mistakes is never a problem. If you are able to justify them, if you are able to prove yourself, then yes, Venkatesh, thank you so much. Varun, as I told you that I covered a few topics today. I talked about NLP, natural language processing. I talked about transformers. I talked about the error percentage in models. I talked about the confidence percentage in models. So some ask, it is always good to know some aspects. They do not, as a product manager, they will not require you to know the coding part. Coding is not required. But you think in this way. You think in this way that if you know these terms, if you know how the models work, when you're having conversation with the developer, it becomes easy, it becomes good. The developer will say, so Mr. Product Manager, hyperparameters are not working correctly, the hyperparameters are not correct, and you will be surprised, oh my god, what is hyperparameter? But on the other hand, if you know what is a hyperparameter, you also can have a better conversation with them, right? So as a product manager, it is always better to be informed, to know about what are the various aspects. But if you do not know the technicality, that's not a problem. But knowledge is always fruitful because it helps you in the conversation well, right? Will having I hope Varun, you got the answer. Varun is yes, okay. Will having domain experience help as an expertise like healthcare? Venkatesh, see, I am again telling you that this you are talking about AI only, or like will having domain experience help as an expertise like healthcare? If you want to switch to healthcare product management, that would be definitely see. Venkatesh, AI is having a lot of application in healthcare. I don't know if you are aware. Okay, so Venkatesh, there's a lot of potential. If you are aware now, many of the medical equipments that you are seeing, all the ventilators that are there, the MRI machines, the X-ray machines, they are using they are using AI to predict when will the failure occur. Okay, they are using AI to predict when the failure will occur. In healthcare, people are making devices, scanning devices to understand that it is a viral infection or it is a bacterial infection. So healthcare is one of the sectors where there is immense potential, and you can look for these Gartner papers. If you have heard, you can look for some Gartner papers, Gartner research, where you will find a lot of literature about AI, how you can use AI, what are the potential sectors where you can use it. That would be, and healthcare is a great sector in all the maintenance of machines, in tracking where the infection is due to viral or due to bacteria. In development of vaccines, it is being used. So I think it has a huge potential. Venkatesh, you are in the right field. You are in the right field. Okay. Okay, how did you handle your manager or higher management hierarchy expectation during the difficult or problematic phase? Did providing proper data regarding the progress of the project help in? Okay. So Madhurja has asked a very difficult, I would not say difficult, but a good question. So I'll just repeat the question. How did you handle your higher management during difficult or problematic phase? Did providing proper data regarding the progress help in keeping stakeholders' expectation intact? Okay. So I'll tell you a situation. So I was handling a client from France. So this was one of our clients, and this is a difficult person to handle, right? And what happened was that we had a planned activity, we had a planned migration activity which was to happen. And in that migration activity, we had to do some 10-15 tasks. Now, I was new to the project and I was not aware that what all activities are there. I was just coming and I came in between. So that activity was being done. So that activity went through, but at that time, no impact was seen. After 6 months, after 6 months, due to one of the activities which was not done at that time, there occurred a lot of data loss, there occurred a lot of chaos, due to which the client became very angry. And this escalation took place with my management as well. And then I was summoned to tell that what was the issue, why did it happen. So I think in that situations, you have to be a little diplomatic. You cannot be very, very straightforward, because being very, very straightforward sometimes backfires. So you need to be diplomatic, that you have to take the blame on yourself, but you also need to communicate in a way that it is not your complete blame. Okay, so it is like it is like managing something in a difficult manner. So I just said that yes, I am the project lead and I am basically leading the product. However, at that time there might be an oversight, or we might not have seen the impact that it would have in the next 6 months. And but the good part is that we have already identified the root cause for it. The team has provided the immediate resolution, and in the next week we will provide a complete resolution for the same. So I think that you need to be a little diplomatic, but you need to be transparent as well, because if you are hiding things even after knowing, then probably the management doesn't like that. So you need to be diplomatic, but you need to have a solution for it as well. Okay. Okay, but now you understood, Madhurjan. Now you understood. You need to be diplomatic and you need to provide a solution. See, I'll give you a very nice thing. In corporate, in corporate, management wants least number of questions from your side and the best answers from your side. Okay, listen to me very carefully. You can write this in your diaries. If you want to excel, ask minimum questions and provide the best answers. The person who asks minimum questions but still provides the best answers, he is the winner in corporate. He or she is the winner. So if you want to win the corporate battle, answer the best and put up least number of questions. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I did face such issue when okay. Any other questions? I have a healthcare plus aviation patent published. Can you help me further? Abhishek, that's great. I think that's I'm so happy to hear that you have a patent in this. So my suggestion to you would be this only, that okay, Anil. So I think my suggestion to Abhishek would be that if you have a patent already, then probably uh, you should explore a field which is related to your patent and see how you can make further improvements. If there is a possibility of implementing AI in it, you can look into that as well. But I would ask you to please confine yourself to research around that patent, because if you have a patent, that means you have expertise in that, and this is the need of the future. Dear folks, I am telling you, the need of the future is that you need to be experts. You need not know anything. You need not know 100 things. You know one thing and you know it in detail, that will work. You know 100 things, small, it will not help you. So it is always better to go in detail. As engineers, as product people, please do one thing, but do it with utmost sincerity. Okay, great. Importance is it mandatory? Varun, what is I want to tell you, I think that people have a lot of misconceptions about product management. So product management is a person. If you talk in simple terms, product management manager is a person who is able to understand what is needed by the customer, and he ensures with his team that that is being delivered to the customer. So think in this manner: there will always be a customer and there will always be a team who needs to be guided to cater to that customer. So product manager is someone who is just doing what the customer wants, who is just getting done what the customer wants. So don't you feel that there is a lot of future in that? There will always be demand for something, And whenever there is demand for something, you need some people to cater to those demands. So do not go into technicality. Think in this way: product manager is a person who is given a team to help customer needs. Okay, so there is a lot of scope. There will always be scope because always there will be demand for something, and product manager will be a person who will be helping to cater to those demands, to cater to the customer needs. Varun, so don't worry, you have a lot of future in that. Be it AI, be it anything. Okay. Uh, I think reading is very important. So for all product managers, I would say reading is very important. So you find 30 minutes every day to read something. Okay. You can start with newspaper. I'm telling you can even start with newspaper, or I'll give you some name of the book. So please, you can, if you are just starting, please read this book. This is a very good book. Cold Start Problem. I've suggested this in previous sessions also. Okay. This is a very good book, Cold Start Problem. This is a very good book you can read. Then you can read a book in the name of The Product Playbook. Yes, yes, cold start program. The Product Playbook you can read. Uh, Venkatesh, you can Google that. You will find that easily. You can Google that. You'll easily find it. Okay. Priyanshu, definitely you can be a great product manager. I will just say that uh, you reads, you need to know frameworks. And I think that if you are regular to the sessions, we are covering all the elements of product management in detail, and that will help you a lot. So just be regular to the sessions, just have time to read, do your work sincerely. You will definitely be a good product manager. That there is no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Any other queries? So I'll just last 2 minutes. Other we'll give last 2 minutes if you have any queries. Otherwise, we'll close this session. Safi, what is the role of PM during? Amita, product playbook you can read. You can follow this. Marty Kagan is very good. Okay, he has written some very good books about product management. I'll just write his name. Marty Kagan. He is a great product author. I have written in the chat. Marty Kagan. I'm not able to type here. Marty Kagan. Marty. Marty. Marty Kagan. He is a great author. Yes, Kapil, correct. I am definitely inspired by Marty Kagan. Okay.
Mm.
Safir, PM is a person who is responsible for the end-to-end product cycle, right from the inception stage to the execution stage. Product manager has role everywhere. So when it comes to a product execution, you need to ensure that the complete testing is done, the product is bug free, right? You need to ensure that none of the scenarios are left, and the you then plan the go to market strategy with the marketing team. All right. So now your product is done. Now you want to go in the market, right? So for the executing part, you will have strategies with the marketing team that how will you enter the market. But the main point is that you are responsible for the end-to-end product life cycle. Okay. So you can read this as well. This will give you a good idea what are the role. PDLC. Have you heard of this term? PDLC. Yes, that's also a very good book. Lean product playbook is also good, Amita. PDLC you can refer. This is very important. Product development life cycle. Yes. So Safir, you will if you learn about this PDLC, you will get a good idea. Okay, chalo. So can we close this? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Karthik.
Okay. I think we should start wrapping it up now.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much, Sahil. This was truly a very valuable learning experience for everyone here.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And before we wrap up, we have two very important announcements, guys. So please listen to it. The first one regarding the certificates of participation. Only those folks who attend all the sessions of the product week will be awarded certificates of participation. So make sure you guys are attending all the sessions here. And the second one is regarding a sneak peek into our another session, which is scheduled for tomorrow at the same time between 8 to 9, which is Product Week Day 3. And the speaker for the session will be Mithil Srivastav. And again, he's speaking on a very important and interesting topic, which is from breakdown to breakthrough, turning product failures into innovation. So, hoping to see you all guys tomorrow. And yeah, thank you for attending the session today. And thank you for being such a wonderful audience. And yeah, we'll be wrapping up the session now.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.